Hi, Pamela here with another tip to help you thrive through the holiday season. Hey, you know, during this month, there needs to be some point, I don't know, some time frame that you stop and reflect for just a few minutes. You've gotten through this whole year. That is 11 months full of experiences, challenges, issues, problems, joys, excitements, changes in status. Everything has happened in the last 11 months. And you need to take a few minutes. And I recommend, I'm saying you need to, but it's really a recommendation that you stop for a few minutes just to reflect a little bit on what all has gone on. One of the valuable things and the wonderful things about journaling, whether you journal in a notebook or whether you've got a diary or whether you use an audio journal or whether you use a video journal, but whatever the case may be, looking through the experiences that you've had throughout the year shows you just how much you've grown, just how much you now know that you didn't know before, just how much you've learned to manage and handle that you didn't know how to manage and handle when you first got started. What about learning new skills or new gifts that you didn't know you had and you found out just because an opportunity popped up and somebody selected you, or you were brave enough to step up and say, I want to try that, and you found that you could do it and you could do it well. That's wonderful. There are also those things you find that you've done and you're like, ooh, I'm not doing that no more. Because you weren't as good at that as you thought you were going to be. But it was the learning experience that counted. It was the thing that you now know that you did not know before. And at the end of every year, there is something you now know that you did not know before, whether it's good or bad, or whether it's right or wrong, or whatever the case may be. You've learned something, several somethings, many somethings that you did not know before. And I recommend that you take a moment and you reflect on those things. Quite often we get all caught up in the hustle and bustle of living our lives and going through all the things that we need to go through, that we ignore the things that have changed, that have come about, that have become new, that we've learned about, that we did not know about before. And we completely ignore the fact that our life has grown, that our experiences have broadened, and they have changed our perspectives on life. We completely miss that, and all of a sudden we're like, I wonder why I didn't used to do this. Why do I do this now? Or I wonder what changed. When did I start doing this? Because life goes by so fast that sometimes you just don't even see when you've found, when you've made, when you've decided on a transition in what you think, how you feel, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what matters most to you. And sometimes we get involved in those situations that have so constrained us that we have forgotten what matters most to us, that we've forgotten what we used to love and that we no longer do anymore. And it's like, but I still love that. When did I stop doing that? We get caught up, so caught up in the day-to-day hustle and bustle of life that we just don't get an opportunity to acknowledge when we've shifted, when we've grown, when we've made a change. Well, I think every December, and for me, it's actually in the fall. I have what I call my reflection time in the fall, where I stop for a moment as the leaves change and as the seasons change, and as you get a chance to see the world shifting from spring to fall, or should I say from summer to fall. That's what makes me think. That's what puts me in the mode that says, this year, I've learned this. This year, I gained this. This year, I wanted to achieve this, but life just got in the way and I wasn't able to do it. Am I going to carry it over into next year? Is it something that I want to do next year? Is it something that just after all that I have experienced and all that I've learned and everything, that's something I'm just not even interested in anymore? You don't know if you don't sit down and think about it. And this is your self-care. This is about you making sure that you're okay. And I don't mean okay in that, your health isn't good or your mental stability is waning or anything like that, but your emotional self. Am I content? Am I happy? Am I satisfied? And if I'm not, what's lacking? What's missing? What rut have I gotten myself into that I need to find my way out of? Now's the time. If you didn't do it in the fall, if you didn't do it in the spring, or wherever your time happens to fall, that you are self-reflecting, then take this time. I know it's busy. I know there's a lot going on, but take some time this month, December, this month. And don't wait till December 31st and you're trying to cram it in before midnight. Seriously, take some time to sit down by yourself, with yourself, to decide, am I who I want to be? And that sounds like a really massive, big question, and it's not. I really don't intend it to be. My intent is for you to just kind of take inventory. Am I okay? Am I happy? Am I comfortable? Has this past year, added to my comfort or discomfort? Has this past year provided for me blooms and roses and wonderful things, or has it provided me none of the blooms and all the thorns? What has happened in this year? How have I shifted? How have I changed? How am I different this December than I was last December? That doesn't mean different better or different worse. It just means different. How am I different? How am I changing? How am I growing? How am I shifting? What is going on with me? It's the check-in time where we take for a few moments and reflect on what has gone on in the months prior so that we can prepare for what needs to happen, what we want to happen, what should happen, our expectations for what should happen in the coming year. Next year, 2020, oddly enough, is my year of clarity. And 2020 being vision, having vision, being able to see clearly where you are, that's my focus. And that's the focus that I'm going to share with you for the entire year of 2020. Where's your clarity? Do you see what you're looking for? And if you don't, how can we clear that vision up so that it shows what you're looking for? How can we add to or take away from what you clearly see in that needs to be a part of your life so that it can be there? What can we do to help you envision the 2020 clarity of your lifestyle that you want? How can we help you see the next steps that you need to take in making sure that you get what you want out of your life? How do we vision the experiences that we have right now? What are we seeing out of them? Are we seeing only the challenge and we're not seeing any of the joy? We need to look at that a little bit differently. Next year, 2020, is the year of clarity. But your clarity is going to start in December 2019 by reflecting back and saying, what have I seen in my life about me that has shifted, transitioned, changed, uprooted, is different than what it used to be? Take some time to reflect. With all that's going on, it's hard to find time. You can always do the sneaky thing, is you go to your bathroom, lock the door, have a seat on the side of the bathtub, and just have some me time. Talk to yourself in the mirror if you need to. Mirror talk is really, really important. You look you in the eye and decide who's looking back and what's she all about. And if you don't know what she's all about, then you need to define who she is. And then in 2020, when you get real clear on who you ought to be or who you want to be or who you intend to be next, a lot of us are heading into the chapter 2s of our life, chapter 2 of our lives. So who do you want to be next? You know, how do you want your life to move forward now that this has changed or that has changed? Some of us are empty nesters. Some of us are retired. Some of us are starting new businesses. Some of us are starting totally new chapters in our lives because we have completely shifted everything there is about us, or it's been shifted for us. So start getting ready for 2020 by sitting down in 2019, locking that door and locking everybody else out and taking some time to reflect on what has happened and how you're different today than you were a year ago today, and then what you want to do moving forward. I'm Pamela Burks, and I'll talk to you next time. See you later. Bye.